It's always a great pleasure to interview this fellow because I just reminded him a moment ago I broke my leg in 1958 and he was on the bench and got his first game. Welcome, Billy Goggin.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. And thanks for getting me a game too.
Well, it was the first of many, many games and a wonderful career. But let's go back a little further. Do we treat you as a local? Because I guess coming from Lethbridge, but reality is you played your junior footy at North Geelong.
Oh yes, and I was born in Geelong, so yeah, I'm a local, all right. North Geelong's where I started, and then come down and played with Geelong under 19s then for a couple of years, and then got on the senior list.
Yes, and proceeded to, as I say, play well in excess of 200 games. Bill, you played a number of games with brother Matt, who was a good mate of mine because we were both wingmen and just a wonderful player in his era. But how close were you to creating real history? Charlie, your other brother, captained the under-19s in '62 to a premiership. Yep. How close was he to playing senior footy?
Yeah, he is pretty close. He's a very good footballer. He played in a lot of premiership sides around the country. He probably just wasn't quite quick enough for his size, which stopped him from making it to the big time. But he did play in a premiership. I think it's the only under-19s premiership that Geelong did win, and he was captain at the time. He was very good. Of course, he's pretty good looking after horses now. But he probably could have played if he'd been given a chance, but he even admits himself he's just probably a little bit away from it. But Matt was an outstanding player.
Just going to say, Matt, older brother, but he was already playing when you came here. What sort of influence did he have over your career?
Oh yeah, he had a big influence. He was a very dedicated player and extremely fit, and sort of showed us the way. But also he sort of guided us through in a time that sort of it wasn't easy to get a game, and he used to look after us a bit, especially in the early practice matches. And I'd say that even yourself or Matt could have probably played on the wing in the 1963 grand final. I know the two guys that played there were outstanding footballers, but I think that perhaps Matt or yourself could have probably played in that game as well.
I guess talking about '63 and the lead up to it, did an interview the other day with Bob Davis, and we mentioned the night premiership in '61 and '62 a tied preliminary final and lost the replay. '63, your affinity with Polly Farmer came to fruition, and Polly, he revolutionised footy, didn't he?
Oh yes, he did, and he had an influence, of course, on myself, but he had an influence on the whole of the game, and also a big influence on the team down here. And he got injured in '62, which made it difficult for us to win. We did get up to a preliminary final, but the next year I didn't think there was, he was the icing on the cake, and it made the difference between probably us fighting hard again to try and win it and making sure we're going to win it.
We're fortunate in '63 to win the reserves flag, as we did in '64. How far were the seniors from winning two in a row?
Yeah, well, we had, I think, Dennis Marshall, Wayne Closter and John Newman came into the side, so we were a better side probably talent-wise in '64 than '63, yet we didn't win. It's a long story, but Collingwood got up and beat us. I think we kicked something like 7-17, they kicked, I don't know, 11-4 or something like that. It was that type of game, and we probably would have won it if we'd made the grand final, but we didn't, and we still regret it because we were probably the best team in the competition that year again.
Having completed your playing career, you went to hone some coaching skills. Was West Geelong the first place you went to coach?
Yes, I left Geelong and then went over to West. Yeah, had a good time there. It was really good. Worked hard, but results were there at the end.
And you got a premiership in '75 at Geelong West. The following year went on to Footscray as coach. Now, AFL or VFL as it was in those days, you coached at Footscray, you coached at Geelong. A difference between clubs?
Yes, I think Footscray was sort of floundering around at the time. I think Geelong were a better run club. Footscray just seemed to have, I didn't know where they were going actually, it seemed to be that way, and it was probably because of the fact that just before I got there, Neil Sachs, who had a terrible injury and became a paraplegic, and I think that threw them out of balance. There was a little bit of, they were unsure of themselves, not only on the field but sort of off the field, and they lacked that confidence. But we did pretty well, and we made the finals. But there's a certain amount of talent there, and probably should have went on and done a little bit better. But we just had a few injuries at the end, and but I think Geelong were better run club at the time.
So just finally coming back, having played with the club and back to coach, was a great thrill, but a big job.
Back here at Geelong?
Yes.
Oh yes, yeah. We won a lot of games. We just didn't win when we needed to win right at the end. We went out to Waverley all the time when we played them and lost, and we went to the MCG. We won, but all the finals at that particular time were being played out at Waverley, preliminary finals. It was disappointing because we were so close, but we've been that way a few times since.
Bill, always a pleasure to catch up with you. We could have gone for another half an hour, I reckon, but thanks very much for your time.